Welcome back everybody. That has been quite a while, a couple of weeks now. We had a very slow month of August, summer holiday. It's now beginning of September, back on the grind. And I think I have some juicy price action for you. For now, I am looking for longs. We're only going to look at BTC in this video. By the way, matter of fact, I am already in a long. I'll also tell you exactly where I entered. If you like the content, please do me a favor, guys. Let us grind back to the YouTube algorithm. Let us fight back into the algorithm by liking, subscribing, clicking on the bell, clicking also so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment and share this video with your friends if you think it's useful. Without further ado, let's start diving in. As I said, BTC, this is the local price action where we're looking at right now. We're on the 1 hour. And like I said, I am right now in a long and I might be looking to add to that position. I've entered here from this box. As you can see, I drew out this box right here, and as you can see here on the 1 hour, we actually had quite some touch points. Also here it were the highs, and then here had some touch points here with support and resistance constantly, and kind of we're now just going above, backtesting it, and now I am looking for higher. And you can also see that I have the tool right here. I am at least looking here at 113,440 to be exact, because that is this high. We do have a local point of control right underneath, so if we reject there, I might be aggressive and take a short just for a hedge on this long trade right here. If not, and if we can reclaim that 113,440, then I think it is a smooth sailing to 117. And the reason why is that because right here you have this very much grinding structure of these highs that screams liquidity. Therefore I think it can be a pretty swift move up all the way to 117. That also coincides with still of a CME gap that is open just under 117,000. If I'm not mistaken, it's 116.8, something like that. So a couple $100 on 117,000 more or less. Who is counting, right? So who cares? I have a few short trades that I'm looking for, and that's actually just all of these trades. I've also shared them on my Discord. By the way, if you want to join the Discord, it's completely for free. The link is in the description, so definitely check that out. And I said that in the Discord, I'm actually just going to keep it very simple. If I see a rejection from any of these levels, so there's this trade right here, I will take the short. The same also goes from this high right here. There's this short, I will take it. Then we have some weekend highs. Then we have some liquidity right here, and then we still have a single print. You're talking here about from the bottom all the way to the top, 117.4. That is then that next target I'm also looking for my long. Then we have the weekend highs at 118,600. Then we have some liquidity, 119,450. And then we have a single print at 20,500. Now, although I would like to see us go as high as possible, I think we should not aim for the perfect level. I mean, yes, it is a little bit of a perfect level, that CME gap and those highs, because it lines up with the golden pockets. Let me just quickly draw this a little bit back so you can see it. Right here you can see that the golden pocket all the way from the highs to the lows is 117, 118.5. Very nice. But if we would top out just before, so at and around this level, I would not be surprised front running it and then to go lower, because eventually I am looking for lower. I think this is just a move now for us to make a macro lower high and then to go lower again, so that we in the span of 2-3 weeks do something like this, where eventually we're rolling over. Then if the high is in exactly here or here or here or here, I don't really care. I will eventually take the short trade based on the reaction of price, what I see in the indicators. But for now I am looking for higher. Before I'm going to talk about why I want to see lower and why I actually pretty confident that eventually we are going lower, let's first have one glance at why I am bullish, because I can enter a long, but based on what is that? It's not only this box right here, but also if we're looking here at the lower time frame, we can see that for market Cipher B, the 1 hour looks actually pretty good. Money flowing to the green, momentum wave higher, RSIs are melted together. That signals strength. If we're then looking at the 4 hour, you can also see that we are coming out of this red wave here of money flow. I really want to see it go into the green. Most likely that will happen on the print of the next 4 hour candle. Yes, we have a red dot right here, but I think if New York opens, this actually could give us some firework. If I then also look at the 12 hour, you can see that we are nicely curving back up. This momentum wave will take multiple days before this 12 hour eventually rolls over. So here, also here on the macro, I think we can have more upside. And then of course also on the daily, we already printed that green dot, and now you can see that we're going higher. So if there's not a crazy event that eventually nukes us lower very fast, I think then for the next couple days we can see higher. And yes, there could be a red day in between, but don't let that fool you. I think eventually we are going much higher and then rolling over. I mean, also this move right here to the downside on the daily also didn't only print red candles, also some green days in between. But like I said, for now I am looking for higher. Now, why was this a little bit of a critical area, and why did I long? Well, you can also see this box right here. We actually dipped just underneath, also gave actually this long right here in the Discord, and I said this box is a little bit of a do or die because you have all of these highs right here. And it is the value area high of this range. So as you see this as a trading range, then it was the value area high, and I said if we go underneath, most likely we will find acceptance within this range, and then you're trading it to the downside again. Well, we went inside, but actually that was in the weekend, and the weekend volume is something that I always take with a grain of salt, because the big parties are not at the trading table, and you can see that actually right after we pushed higher again. However, we left quite some trails that is giving me a bias that eventually we're going to take it out. And again, that does not have to be this week. That can be even in 2-3 weeks from now, but it is definitely a target for a short trade, and that is the way that these lows are formed. These lows right here, especially this one right here, is pretty much an equal low with this low right here. But even if I will take that out of the equation and I would just take everything out here, and I just want to show you these lows, there you go, and also take this out for a second, you can see here that all of these lows are quite close to each other. They barely took each other out. This was an S&P of 0.1%. That is nothing. Yes, it happens, but the way this low is forming, I actually think that we are going to come back for it, and then we will not be holding it. So I do not expect an S&P to then go higher again. I actually expect us then just to dump down and then to go lower. And the way this has been setting up, and plus the fact that we have not hit any critical level, there was nothing here. Yes, there was a macro golden pocket, but other than that, there was no daily level, no weekly, there was no extreme volume. Matter of fact, we also had an extended weekend on the regular stock markets, because last Monday the stock markets were closed. And then you can see that yes, we hit the golden pocket, but other than that, actually there was nothing significant right there at that price level. So actually I expect us to revisit that again. Now, if we are eventually going to revisit these lows 107, like I said, I think an S&P will not be sufficient. We're going much lower. That also then coincides with the idea that you really find acceptance here within the range. So preferably, if we eventually are rolling over and we're getting acceptance in this range, it does not happen in the weekend, because you can see here that on the Saturday and Sunday that we actually spent just ever so slightly underneath that value area high. It was in the weekend, and then we just pumped up again because of that lack of trading volume from the bigger parties. But eventually, like I said, I think if we are rolling over, we'll find acceptance within this range. In principle, then would say you would trade towards the bottom of the range. So about 100 to 102k is then my first big target. But we'll cross those bridges once we're there. Again, I cannot stress this enough. I think it will still take some time before we get there. That is first slowly trade and grind to the upside. There are so many juicy levels for us to hit on this long trade. Again, that is these highs right here. Then we have this grind structure. We have the CME gap, the golden pocket. We have weekend highs. There's so much unfinished business here above us. So I want to see some of that clear before we eventually are rolling over. And I will try to short along the way up, because if one of these shorts is eventually high, then I want to be exposed on the short side. So how will I trade any of them in case they hit? I will enter the short trade, take a quick TP1 and then just let it ride and move the stop loss to entry. In case I'm wrong and we're going higher, at least I took a TP1 and I'm not losing on the trade anymore. I'll do the same for the next trade, the next trade, the next trade, the next trade. Take a quick TP1, move stop loss to entry, and then just let it ride. And if you get stopped out, so be it. You can always re-enter. But in case I'm totally wrong and we're going absolutely for the highs, then you don't want to be overexposed and let your losing trade get into a massive loss. Again, for now, bullish. I'm looking for higher, and you now know the targets that I'm looking at. If I take more intermediate trades or I see something locally developing this week or during the trading sessions, I always update everyone in my Discord first. So if you want to join that, make sure that you click on the link in the description. It is completely for free, and see you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.